I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. So in our last readings, we read about Hezekiah and his life being extended by another 15 years. Now we finish out his reign. This will be in 2 Kings, chapter 20. We will be reading verses 12 through 21, which will finish out that chapter. We will then flip to 2 Chronicles, chapter 32, where we will read verses 27 through 33 to finish out that chapter. And that will end our time in the reign of Hezekiah. So, let us read this. 2 Kings, chapter 20, verse 12. At that time, Berodach Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present unto Hezekiah, for he had heard that Hezekiah had been sick. And Hezekiah hearkened unto them, and shewed them all the house of his precious things, the silver, and the gold, and the spices, and the precious ointment, and all the house of his armor, and all that was found in his treasures. There was nothing in his house, nor in all his dominion, that Hezekiah shewed them not. Then came Isaiah the prophet unto King Hezekiah, and said unto him, What said these men? And from whence came they unto thee? And Hezekiah said, They are come from a far country, even from Babylon. And he said, What have they seen in thine house? And Hezekiah answered, All the things that are in mine house have they seen. There is nothing among my treasures that I have not shown them. And Isaiah said unto Hezekiah, Hear the word of the Lord. Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house, and that which thy fathers have laid up in store unto this day, shall be carried into Babylon. Nothing shall be left, saith the Lord. And of thy sons that shall issue from thee, which thou shalt beget, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. Then said Hezekiah unto Isaiah, Good is the word of the Lord which thou hast spoken. And he said, Is it not good, if peace and truth be in my days? And the rest of the acts of Hezekiah, and all his might, and how he made a spoil and a conduit, and brought water into the city, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And Hezekiah slept with his fathers, and Manasseh his son reigned in his stead. So I find this interesting, that the king of Babylon hears about Hezekiah's sickness and sends some ambassadors to bring him a present to kind of console him. Say, yeah, we're sending you a get well present. I find that interesting. Now, at this time, Babylon has not yet even asserted itself. They're still a vassal state to Assyria. And so it could be that they are kind of, in a way, making an alliance, or at least making friends with other people because they're planning on moving out and doing their own conquest. And then Isaiah comes and says, Well, what did you show him? Oh, I showed him everything. Well, then everything's going to be his. And Hezekiah says, Fine. As long as I got peace in my day, I will be content. So, let us flip to Chronicles. This is 2 Chronicles, chapter 32, and start in verse 27. And Hezekiah had exceeding much riches and honor, and he made himself treasuries of silver, and for gold, and for precious stones, and for spices, and for shields, and for all manner of pleasant jewels. Storehouses also for the increase of corn, and wine, and oil, and stalls for all manners of beasts, and coats for flocks. Moreover, he provided him cities, and possessions of flocks and herds in abundance, for God had given him substance very much. This same Hezekiah also stopped the upper watercourse of Gihon, and brought it straight down to the west side of the city of David. And Hezekiah prospered in all his works. Howbeit, in the business of the ambassadors of the princes of Babylon, who sent unto him to inquire of the wonder that was done in the land, God left him to try him, that he might know all that was in his heart. Now the rest of the acts of Hezekiah and his goodness, behold, they are written in the vision of Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, and in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. And Hezekiah slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the chiefest of the sepulchres of the sons of David. And all Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem did him honor at his death, and Manasseh his son reigned in his stead. Couple of things here that we need to take note of. Hezekiah is probably the richest and most opulent king since Solomon. His riches seem to have surpassed. He's got cities to store gold in. He's got another city to store his silver in. He's got another city for his food. He's got just ridiculous wealth. And that's why Babylon sends some ambassadors, not just because he was sick, but they wanted to see what his power was, what his wealth was. And this tells us that God actually didn't... apparently God has been with Isaiah the whole time. He has the inspiration of God. He has revelation. He's guided on how to do all the things. But when the ambassadors of Babylon come, God withdraws his guidance. He says, let's see how Hezekiah handles this. And this is where we get, I think it mentioned earlier, that Hezekiah does get a little too full of himself a little bit. And God has to chastise him a little. And so what they're saying here is that God withdrew from him and said, Hezekiah, I want to see what you do. And so Hezekiah, he goes out and he starts showing off. Look at all this stuff I got. He takes him throughout the entire kingdom and shows him everything that he has. And God says, okay, you're just you got a little too much pride there. You're a great guy, Hezekiah, but you're just a little too much. And that's when Hezekiah is told that told about the Babylonian captivity. So we will leave that here, and we are going to be turning back to Isaiah. We will be reading the rest of Isaiah before we come back to our histories, because Isaiah prophesies during the time of Hezekiah. He never mentions that he prophesies in the days of Hezekiah's son Manasseh. And even though it is said he was killed by Manasseh, his prophecies are all before Manasseh. So we're going to finish them out. We're going to read the rest of Isaiah, then we will return to our histories. So that's going to be chapters 39 through 64. What's that, 25 chapters, 26 chapters? Anyways, we'll see you there. It's going to be fun.